Saw the column by Jason Cole, Yahoo Sports NFL writer. It has to do with Geno Smith because we're still trying to figure out Geno Smith here with what we thought we knew when Nolan Naraki wrote the Pro Football Weekly column article, took his legs out from underneath him, basically said, don't draft this guy, everything that's being said about him. And then I wondered, okay, he didn't cite sources, and I thought it was somebody inside West Virginia who probably was telling him some of this stuff. And then I see Jason Cole's written a column on Yahoo Sports where maybe where there's smoke, there's fire here with Geno Smith. Jason joins us now. Go back to like 6 weeks ago, Jay, and where were we on Geno Smith to where we are today? How did everybody sort of miss a lot of these warning signs, these red flags with the kid?
Well, a lot of the stuff that I'm reporting in this article didn't come out during the process because I don't think teams are necessarily going to share what happens in the interview process and let it get around, especially if they think that maybe some other team's going to take him higher than they think he should go. So this is sort of the chicanery part of the draft process. But, I think that ultimately, everybody found out a lot of the same things about Geno Smith, which are that he doesn't appear to be the most mature kid in the world and a guy who's ready to handle the role of being a quarterback of an NFL team, which is a lot more than just playing, and that's the real concern. I'm not saying he's not going to get there, and most of these people say he's not a bad kid, he's just not prepared yet.
But you're also going into a situation with the Jets, with Sanchez still there, Rex Ryan still there. There's going to be a year of transition, and you're going to have to face that media market here. Is that the right team, right town for Geno Smith with what you've learned?
Is that a rhetorical question? This one's going to be tough because the big question is what happens the first time you throw 3 interceptions at MetLife Stadium against the division opponent in front of your home base. I mean, New York is a vicious place. It's a tough place. I mean, what happens when you get your disappointed look or maybe a picture of another butt fumble on the back page of the Post or the Daily News? I mean, how's the kid going to react to that? And it appears that based on his reactions so far, I mean, he wanted to bolt from New York on Thursday after not going in the first round. He fires his agents on Tuesday. This sounds like a kid whose initial emotional responses are angry and knee-jerk, and that doesn't play particularly well in front of New Yorkers.
I thought that E.J. Manuel would have been better served in New York City and Geno Smith in Buffalo as far as dealing with the media.
Well, it appears that way. I didn't know a lot about E.J. Manuel beforehand, but in watching him on Thursday after he got drafted, what was really interesting to me is he must have been asked 17 variations of a question about how's your mom doing as she recovers from cancer, and she's doing great, which is wonderful. But at a certain point, you would expect that somebody would just get a little bit tired of answering that question, and the monotony of it. And right up until the end, when he's doing like a TV spot in a Rochester station for a local affiliate, right up to that last moment, I mean, he's been answering this question for probably close to an hour and a half. He answered it as if it was the first time he was being asked. And that showed this kid gets it. I mean, again, it's not just about how do you throw the football and how do you act in the huddle and how do you act in practice. It's how do you act in front of the media? Are you the face of the franchise? And this kid gets it.
Yeah, but
really
Jason,
so.
Do you think that Geno Smith dropped more because of his personality or because of his football ability?
I think he ultimately dropped. There's a combination of it, but I think his personality dropped him a lot at the end. I think people take a very serious measure of do you have the intangibles that go with being a quarterback. I think that's a very serious thing. Now, look, he's got a certain amount of Drew Bledsoe-itis, which is lack of pocket presence and understanding of the timing of the pocket, which is why you see him get all these strip sacks and lose the ball from behind, which is like, to me, as great as Drew Bledsoe was, the defining moments of his career are all these, blindside hits that he took, and all of a sudden the ball's coming out. And I think that there's a certain amount of that from the football side, but I think just as much as, when you're sitting there in meeting rooms, with a bunch of coaches and other players, and you're looking at your cell phone and you're disengaged from the process, that's not leadership.
We're talking to Jason Cole, Yahoo Sports NFL writer, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Before I let you go, don't know if you saw this from Drew Rosenhaus, who tweeted that the Dolphins may be liking Tim Tebow. I don't know what that means. They may be liking. This sounds like high school. I may be liking you if you like me. Check.
Well, it's
yes or
my
no.
wife and I used to say, "Do you like me, or do you just like me?" Look, they're trying. They always think about marketing down in Miami these days and see how they can fill that stadium again.
Was that a Tebow gasp there, Jason? Like, really, we have to talk about this?
Yeah, I just I'm sorry. Yeah, here's the thing about Tim, and personally, I really like Tim. His fans drive me nuts. He's a good kid and all those things. I think he's really come to the understanding that all the things that he never learned about being a quarterback, whether it was at Nice High School or at the University of Florida or during the first 3 years of his NFL career, he has come to a realization from the people I've talked to that there are certain things he just doesn't do. Like, he doesn't read defenses particularly well. He, doesn't operate out of the pocket particularly well. And he needs to go to a team where he can be taught those things and where the emphasis is not on him getting out on the field, but the emphasis for him is on learning the position once and for all to see if he can possibly do it. Because otherwise he has to go to tight end. But by the way, before you send me off, I did want to compliment whoever picks the music. Gaslight Anthem, pretty cool.
All right. That's Seton O'Connor. You can't work at ESPN, by the way, if you have that gasp for Tim Tebow. You know that.
I gave up a lot of things a long time ago.
He'll still be there because we're always going to hold out hope because he showed magic in one half of a season and he won a playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So no matter what happens, people are still going to say Tim Tebow can play, or why doesn't he give a chance? Although
this argument is never going to come to an end unless he actually gets 6 years of a final chance to prove it one way or another. And I'm one of those people who's still sort of in that camp of, I think he has the ability to play, but he doesn't know how to play NFL quarterback. He has certain talents, but he doesn't know the game well enough.
I will say this, though. I truly believe the Jets would have been better if Tim Tebow was the quarterback last year than Mark Sanchez.
Well, it couldn't have been much worse.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. He would have taken care of the ball better. They wouldn't have given him the opportunity to throw 4 interceptions.
Any quarterback in the league, Dan, took care of the ball better the last 2 years than Mark Sanchez. He had 52 turnovers. I mean, Dan, they would have been better off with you or me at quarterback.
Thank you, Jason. Good to talk to you again.
I'll talk to you later.
Jason Cole, Yahoo Sports.